Welcome to Baby and Us, a series of short videos to help you feel calm, confident and connected with your new baby.
My name's Susanna.
And I'm Leah. So now we've come to the end of our Baby and Us course. We wanted to take a moment for you to think about what has stood out for you. What has been the most important thing that you'll take away?
Here's a quick reminder of what we covered.
We talked about processing the birth of your baby. We also talked about getting to know each other, so you getting to know your new baby, and goals for yourself and for your baby. We talked about describing the birth and the impact that that had on you and the feelings that you had for that, and also recovering from the birth.
Then in the next few videos, we introduced the idea of being good enough. So taking away the need to try to be a perfect parent and instead trying to be a good enough parent. And part of being a good enough parent is taking care of ourselves and making sure that we make time for ourselves and fill up our own jugs. You might remember the jug exercise. And another element of that was how we cope with crying, because that's something that can can deplete our jug really, really quickly.
We talked about acknowledging babies' feelings because often we don't. We also talked about our feelings and how we're connected with our baby's feelings and that link that we have together as a parent. And we also talked about managing stress.
So then the videos moved on and we started thinking about routines. We also talked about feeding and sleeping, and I suppose how we can sort of encourage our babies to sleep a bit better if they're struggling to sleep.
In the next part of the videos, we talked about your baby's personality and your personality and your baby's personality and how they could be completely different. We also talked about understanding different moods and different states. We also talked to the different types of crying.
We then moved on to thinking about how to connect with your baby. So thinking about babies' interactions with parents. We talked about descriptive commenting, and you might remember that we talked about treasure baskets within that, and using treasure baskets as a way to practice descriptive commenting. We talked about a particular way of talking to your baby, which is called parentese. And then we thought about types of touch and how you use touch to communicate with your baby.
The next session we were talking about on the videos was safety. We talked about keeping babies safe and all the different things that we have in our home that we need to maybe adapt. We also talk about managing difficulties, whether that be in the family, whether that be with friendships, and how you use some of the strategies that we've given you in order to help with that. So what I want you to do is take a moment to pause the video and have a little think.
I think often when people start a group, they feel like they're coming because they want to learn more about their baby, and actually through coming to the group they start to realise every baby is different. There isn't a one size fits all, and they are the person who knows their baby best and can work out what their baby wants and needs, and they're maybe a bit better at it than they gave themselves credit for.
Another thing that's come out with parents is I think that they've realised that they've set their expectations really, really high, and actually in then going through the being good enough as a parent, they've acknowledged and realised that they are good enough, or that maybe that they need to relax a lot of the things that they have in terms of their, I don't know, vision of their small baby. So you might remember that we talked earlier on about setting goals. What I want you to do is look at the rating that you've given yourself, then look and say, has that changed in any way? And what would you rate it as now? If you've moved closer towards achieving your goal, then I want you to sit back and think, what's helped you do that? How have you managed to achieve that? And what has led to the change? Is the goal still as important to you now as it was when you wrote it down? And if you were to set a new goal today or for the future, what would it be?
So it's really interesting, isn't it, Leah? Because I think when people come to the group, generally I think people make quite good progress towards their goals. They'll something will shift for them, but sometimes you find that people come and they haven't necessarily made progress towards their goal, but that stops being a goal for them. It stops seeming quite as important, and something else has become the most pressing issue. And so they realise that actually, if they were to set a goal at the end of the group, it would look quite different from what it was at the beginning of the group. We also asked you to think about making a recovery plan. So let's review that now. What do I need to look out for? What do I need to be worried about? So if you know that you've struggled with, say, low mood or anxiety in the past, you might know what your triggers are. Think about what usually keeps you well. And then thinking about who and how will you ask for help.
Thank you very much for watching. I hope that this has been useful.
Thanks. Bye.